Hey pilots, this is Pete with BananaHobby.com. Welcome to your build review of the highly anticipated the FreeWing ME-262. I have the ME-262 laid out on my workbench now, and we're going to jump right in and just start this build here. But before we start this build, I want to talk about a couple of little things about this ME-262 and what goes into it, and then we'll just get hands-on and start building. First of all, let me give you some technical data here. The wingspan on this is 1,500 millimeters, and it comes in at 59 inches in the actual wingspan here. The motors are 2200 kV, so this is flying on two 70 millimeter EDF electric ducted fan jet units, and the power plant is a 4,000 milliamp 6S pack. That's what's going to be powering the battery portion of this ME-262. The ESCs are twin 50 amp brushless ESCs with the internal BEC as well. So there's a couple of things that I want to actually go ahead and talk about. First of all, these retracts on here are servoless retracts, and then your nose retract has a sequencing gear door. So that's going to be actually really cool too. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this ME-262, and this is the second version of the sample that we got. This is actually the production version where we did do the revisions on the canopy and a couple of things here and there. So a couple of things right off the bat you're going to notice is that when you get this, there's a good possibility, a good chance that your pilot in here will be loose. See how this pilot is pretty much loose in there. And what has happened is sometimes the glue during the shipment becomes undone here. So it's really easy here. The whole bottom section of this airplane, of this ME-262 is open. So you can go ahead and just slide this over, apply some glue on the on this pilot, and then glue him back down to his seat there. And then the other portion of the main wings here with the twin EDFs, one on each wing, they may or may not come like this. However, all the wiring for your main wing, for the flaps, for the ailerons, and the speed control here, and the motor, all these connections are underneath the basically, it's the ESC cooling area here. So you're going to want to take the cover off and then extend all those wires out before you start building here. Sweet. I actually had the chance to fly the first production model of this, and we actually had it at the West Coast Big Jolt this previous weekend here, and everybody just absolutely loved it. The flying performance of this is so nice. Tracks like she's on rails, really fast. Good tone from the ESCs, and just really easy to fly. Extremely, extremely stable. Okay, well, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and just bring the camera in, and we're going to jump right into the build here. And we're not basically, I can revert to the manual, which I will do, but we're most likely going to just jump into this and build this Pete style, because right now, as far as I know with this build here, there is no gluing pretty much whatsoever, except for your pilot, if your pilot has come loose. And another tip here, FreeWing provides the connections for the speed controls with two male-sided bullet connectors. So you can choose to use these, or you can choose not to. I actually am not using these on the first one. I'm probably going to go ahead and cut this off and solder on a Dean's plug, because the amp draw I don't believe is high enough to actually harm an actual Dean's Ultra plug. So if you're going to put a Dean style plug on here, I urge you to only use Dean's Ultra plugs. Don't use any imitations. Don't use any from any overseas companies, because they're made out of plastic. They'll melt. But the actual Dean's Ultra plugs, they're actually a composite type of a material mix. And I believe in those things, like, they're really, really good. So I may change those out. I may not. I'm not 100% sure yet. So let's go ahead and just start building this. This is what I call your low time build, because everything pretty much screws down. Everything's done for you already. Even the hinges on here are the hinges are pre-installed. Clevises are already, all the clevises are pre-installed for you already. Servos are already in there. Fans are already in there. And you're pretty much just going to just bolt this together and pretty much fly a ME-262. All right, let's go ahead and start the build. All right, now that we have the camera in closer, you can have a better look at just the beautiful quality of this ME-262. FreeWing did just a great job on the paint. I haven't seen paint this accurate and this clear in a really, really long time. The paint on here is just really nice. The colors and everything very, very scale, and it just looks like, you know, you did your own airbrush job there. It's just a beautiful looking airplane here. Okay, let's go ahead and set the main wing down here, and let's go ahead and take a look at the manual here and see what they're telling us to do here. And we can see what we want to do here. Okay, there's a accessory bag. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the accessories bag real quick here. Let's see. Okay, the accessories bag we have, which is right here. And what this is, it has your Y connectors. There's a screwdriver in here. There's a couple of female bullet connectors and a bunch of screws for the main wings and the tail section. Let's go ahead and cut this open. It's a good time to get yourself a little dish or something, or a paper plate or something, so you can put all these in there without losing any parts. Just the general tools that you need for this, you know, have a pair of cutters, pair of needle nose pliers, and a Phillips screwdriver, which is actually included. FreeWing actually gives you a magnetic tipped really nice little Phillips screwdriver. So, you know, we're going to be using that one. Okay, let's go ahead and untie the Y splitters and things like that. That portion we'll talk about when we start getting into the actual build right here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, before we go on any further here, right now I want you to go ahead and get your main wing and remove these two Phillips screws right here. Take the cover off and reroute the wires to the outside. I've gone ahead and glued my pilot back down to the seat here. Here's a tip for you. I strongly suggest that when you glue your pilot to the seat, do not use any type of a super glue, because the super glues, when they're starting to dry, there are vapors, and I'm sure you've seen it. The outside of your super glue bottles have like a white layer on it. So don't use super glue when you glue this pilot back down, because you will end up possibly fogging the inside of your canopy. I just used a 5N8 epoxy, and that'll work. If you have any kind of rubber contact cement, that would work as well, because you can keep in mind that it is open on the bottom. Your wings are removable at any time. If your pilot does come loose again, you can always re-glue them. So, so that's done there. We're going to move the fuselage out of the way for just a second here. And I've gone ahead and taken the wires out of my main wings here, and they're ready to go. So both sides are ready to go. And the manual's actually pretty clear, and it would like us to go ahead and join the main wings and install it onto the fuselage. Usually I don't do that with the build. I usually build the tail portion first, but since this one right here, once you have the main wings together, it actually sits down really flat, because you have your two engine nacelles on the side here, so it actually will help support the platform and make the tail section a little bit easier for you to work on. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and flip this real quick here, and if you have any kind of a soft surface to work on, it'd be great right about now, because what we are going to do right here, before we join the main wings, we are going to get our extensions here and Y connectors and a tri connector and find out where they go. So this part here, it's a good idea for you to, if you have a Sharpie, you can actually write on here what connection or what connector goes to where. And I don't have one, so we're going to have to just write it down a little bit later. Okay, first of all, let's go ahead and get your carbon. These are the carbon composite wing spars. The long wing spar here will be going into the, will be going into the rear portion of the trailing edge here, or the back portion of the main wing. We're going to insert this until it basically just stops. Once it stops, don't force it any farther, and then we're going to test fit it a little bit later with the other side there. And the shorter one goes to the front. That's it, just like that. Okay, we're going to leave this like this. And let's go ahead and plug in the wires, and then we can join the two main wings together. The main wings actually do not require any glue when you bolt it down, so we don't need that. Okay, so all of these are labeled extremely clear here. So this one is flap. We're going to grab one of our Y harnesses and plug one side into the flap, and then right now we're going to move the wires out of the way a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and just, this is a little bit easier if you go ahead and just join the wings together, but not press them down all the way, not all the way through. There we go. The fitment is just perfect here. Okay. There we go. A little bit there. And there we go. So we are lined up now. Okay, we're going to leave it like that. We have this one is your flap. So all of these are labeled here, very clear. I'm going to locate the other side flap wire. And we're just going to plug the colors in according to the flap wire. Let me see if I can grab a Sharpie really quick here. Going to make it a little bit easier. Actually, I don't have one with me. Okay, I'll use the next best thing is I'll just score it on there with the X-Acto blade, so be really careful if you do that. X-Actos are really sharp. Okay, so this one's flap. And then we have another Y connector here, and we'll use this one for the ailerons. Okay, make sure everything's plugged in nice and tight there, nice and snug. Find the other side for the aileron. All right, we're plugged in. And then we have another Y here. We're going to move these two out of the way because they're already plugged in. And we'll say this one is for throttle. Okay. Here's another tip for you at this time here where we're plugging these into the Y splitters and then the tri-splitter for the three-way splitter for the retracts. Once you plug these in, it never hurts to actually go ahead and just put a little bit of a scotch, like clear tape right around there, just to keep them from actually pulling apart. So that's always a good idea. Okay, this is flap. Okay, we got that. This one's aileron. We're going to put an A on this plug so we know this is for aileron. Okay, and then this one is for throttle, so we're going to go ahead and put a T on there. Okay. Again, Sharpies will work best. Okay, now we have the three-way here. The three-way splitter will be for the landing gear because the two plug-ins to the main wings are for the main gears, and then the one that's left open we will plug into the fuselage later for the nose gear. Okay. This one we don't have to mark because we know it's a three-way plug, so we already know that it's for the landing gears. All right. Now we have our piggybacks, basically. You plug this into the ESCs and they join the two sides together here. So let's go ahead and you just plug in red to one side, and then the red on the other plug to the other side, and then black to one side, and then the other black to the other bullet connector on the other side. And you're pretty much ready to go. And it looks just like that. I actually was going to change these plugs out here to a Dean's plug, and then I checked my work bag, and I actually don't have any Dean's Ultra plugs with me. So we're going to have to just leave them like this for now. And then when I do the setup here with the gears and things like that, I'm going to use an actual servo, like just a servo module to actually go ahead and bring them down, bring the gears down. This basically is it's just a 6-channel. It's a simple 6-channel. Channel number 5 will be your retracts. Channel number 6 will be your flaps. Okay, now that we have everything plugged in there, just make sure these are all into the channels. Push the wires right back into the channels right there, just like that. And then go ahead and pick up the wing. Make sure they're out of the way into the channel. And go ahead and press the two sides together. This will be easier. You grab a little bit farther apart so you have a little bit of leverage using the nacelles here. There we go. Nice and snug, perfectly centered. And there will be a cover here for the main wing and then the main wing bolts. So that is pretty much complete. You have your wire loom sitting from the top here, ready to mount to the fuselage. Let's go ahead and check the manual again and see where they want us to go. Yeah, we're looking good. Yep. We are going to go ahead now and mount the wing to the fuselage. This part here, if you have an airplane cradle or something of some sort, that will work the best, because right now we need to flip the airplane here. And we're going to set, I used one, this one I've been using for a while, and it works out pretty good. I just used one of the older airplane boxes and I cut it. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it a little bit more this time because it's a little bit wider. Watch your finger if you're doing this. There we go, just like that. And we have a cradle here. Okay, the back fits, front fits pretty good. We're good. All right, now let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and mount the main wing here. Your wire loom will go from the hole in here towards the nose here. Okay, so let's go ahead and just put all those wires in there. Make sure they're all forward, which they are. Okay, we're looking good. We're going to go ahead and test fit. If it all goes down good, then we're going to go ahead and bolt it down. Yep, we're looking good there. I would say to go ahead and remove the cradle for now. And the front battery compartment here is magnetic, so we're going to go ahead and pop that open there and take a look to make sure all of our wires are here, which they are. Elevator. This is for your ailerons. Okay, well, all the wiring is here and visible, so we are pretty much good to go here. Just want to make sure they're not pinching in between the wing and the fuselage there, which they're not. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and bolt the main wing down with the wing bolts. Okay, you want to find these two pieces. These are your wing saddles, basically. Not wing saddles, but this is the connection between the two wings, and then we're going to go ahead and screw this in there. Okay, we're going to find this one's for the back. The shorter one is for the back. Just press it on there. Press fit. Make sure this all fits. And then the front one goes just like that. And then it ends up covering the actual, you can see it. It covers the wire loom there. So everything is in. This part is looking good. Okay, we're going to grab our wing bolt bag. These are self-tapping screws. And let's see which screws they tell us here. Okay, the manual doesn't actually tell us what screws to use, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Let's see here. We're going to look for the 4 biggest screws, and which is exactly as I thought. We have 4 of the larger self-tapping screws. These will be for the main wings. I'm going to go 1 in each hole. Just drop it in there. And this portion, I would say to use a little bit bigger, a little bit larger of a screwdriver, just because that Phillips head screw is actually pretty big. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just start tightening this, but we're not going to tighten all the way down. We're going to tighten until we have some tension, which we do. Okay, we're not going to tighten all the way down, like I said. Not yet, at least. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this one. Okay, we have some tension there. Okay, now that we have all 4, now we'll go ahead and tighten down just till they're snug. Here's a tip. When you're tightening these screws down, when they're tight enough, you will start to see that this portion of the plastic starts to have a little bit of a concave look to it, because you're starting to pull it down into the foam. That is when you know that it's plenty tight enough. You don't want to go any tighter than that. Okay. Main wing's on and ready to go here. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the cradle. And you can see the main wing is now pretty much on there, ready to go. We're going to leave the forward section alone. We're going to set the main portion aside. We're going to get the horizontal stabilizer and then the vertical stabilizer. This portion, we can move the main portion of the airplane aside because we're focusing on the tail section here. Okay, this tail section goes together without any glue. Once again, you have one carbon guide rod, and then the two halves of the elevators actually will just interlock with each other once you have it on the vertical there. Here's another tip. Once you have, before you actually go ahead and do that, the elevator's a little bit tight sometimes, so you just want to give it a couple of wiggles here to loosen it up a little bit. And these actually all have hinges in them. It's not only is it just an EPO hinge, it actually has hinges in there. Okay, the same thing for the rudder. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and insert this. The light blue color, sky blue color, basically is the bottom. And then we're going to line that up and just press. Perfect. And again, with pressing foam, you never want to use your fingertips again. You want to always try to use the palms of your hand, and you want to disperse the pressure as evenly as you can. Okay, the screws we're going to use for this part, they're the shorter silver screws with get the camera a little closer, with like a washer built into it. So this screw looks like this. They're short, and then looks like there's a washer built into the head. Okay, so these are the ones we're going to use. And we're going to look at the bottom, and you can see right here, you lined it with the screw hole just right there. And we're going to drop the screw right on top of there, which is not going to work. So we're going to use the screwdriver and fix it to the front of the screwdriver, and we're going to line it up with that. And then just tighten it down. There we go. Okay. That screw is tight. I'm going to go ahead and insert the left horizontal stabilizer. Do the same thing. Line up the elevators. There we go. And then press. I never imagined building an RC airplane to be this easy, to get to this level to be this easy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fix the screw one more time right there and tighten her down. Again, just tighten it down to where you feel tension, and then a little bit more, and you are good. And that's it. Look at that. Your whole tail section is complete. And then you just screw this to the fuselage, and your ME-262 is just about done. Talk about a quick build here. All right, let's go ahead and bring this main portion back here while I zoom back out so you can see the entire airplane. Okay. We are going to go ahead now, we are going to attach the tail section. Okay, you have your rudder connector here taped to the inside of the fuselage, so remove the tape. Right now we're going to go ahead and plug the rudder servo in. The rudder servo is on the vertical stabilizer. It's right there, right here. And we're going to connect the connecting rod there in a little bit. Or actually, we can just go ahead and do that now. And then we'll adjust the lengths a little bit later. There we go. Okay, the push rod is on. I'm sorry, actually, this is not the rudder servo. This is the elevator servo. So this is for your elevator. the one that's on the vertical stabilizer here. Okay, that's about good there. I'm going to call that and just have it in there for now. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this wire. And we will connect this part. If you have somebody helping you, it'd be great. Somebody can hold the vertical stabilizer for you while you plug this in. If you don't, then just set her down on the table and plug it in. And again, if you have some clear tape, it'd be a good time to tape that and keep it from coming apart. There we go. We're just going to line this up here. Okay, this is your... Be careful right here because you have your rudder push rod in the back. So you want to make sure everything's out of the way. Okay. And we're just going to push forward and press. Wires out of the way. Yep. Okay, now we're looking good. We're going to go ahead and press this down here. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so you have your tail section pressed down onto the main fuselage. We're going to move the airplane once more here, and put her back in the cradle so we can tighten the tail section down here. There's only a handful of screws, so we know that the remaining screws are for the tail section here. Let's go ahead and set that down there. Okay, so in the tail section, there are 2 holes. See if the camera can catch that up here. Right, there's one right here. There's one right here, and then there's one right here. And these screws, we are going to be using these 3 that are left over. Actually, there are 3 holes. So we need the back tail cover piece, which is this one. Okay, we're going to insert this into this tail section right here. Press down. Make sure it fits. There we go. And then we have one. There we go. One in there. One in there. There we go. And then one for the tail section right there. So we'll start with this one and tighten this one down. Again, same principle. You don't want to tighten down way too much. There we go. We'll move our way up the line here. Go to the next one. Okay, that's good. We'll go to the last one here. Everything lined up so nicely. It just went together like a perfect puzzle. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and tighten down. There we go. That's good. There we go. That is good. And I'm going to grab the entire airplane here. Give her a flip. Move the box. And look at that. You just built an ME-262. All of these screws up here are holding your nacelle down. Nacelle, however you want to pronounce it. They are Phillips screws, so, always do a once over. Make sure all the screws are tight. Never hurts to do that. So we're going to do that now. Yep, they pretty much are all pretty tight. There we go. Sweet. Okay. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to finish connecting the front portion here with the landing gear to the three-way harness here. So we have our retracts here. Let's see, where is that one? So right now we're trying to locate that three-way splitter. There it is. We're going to plug this into there we go. The landing gear. There we go, black. All right, so we're plugged in. Three-way is good. And then here's the trick right here. This module right here, I don't know if the camera can catch it. This one right here is your gear door sequencer, and it's for the landing gear door actually. But it's also for the landing gears. So you're going to plug your retract into this one in the same color configuration into this little sequencer, and then this part right here, you're going to be connecting this to the your receiver in channel number 5 here. Okay, so let's go ahead and back the camera off just a bit here, and we're going to wrap this up with deploying the main gears. All right, this ME-262 pretty much is done with the build now. All you're going to do is use your own provided radio system, or if you get one from us that's a 6-channel, you're going to go ahead and connect the controls now to your receiver. And again, I was talking about using a Dean's plug. I don't have one with me to solder on there, and I don't have a way to actually connect this battery to my 6S LiPo that's in here. 6S, it's a 4000 size LiPo, and the one we're using is going to be the 65C 4000 milliamp Genesis Power Pete Signature Series. And I have that LiPo pushed all the way up towards the nose, and the center of gravity is perfect. So you want to leave it right about there. So right now I have my gear door sequencer. I have a servo connector here, just so I could drop the gears here to show you. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Here we go. Let's go ahead and grab this. Okay. Look at the retracts here. Gear door, I hear it. And servoless electric retracts. There we go. We're going to go ahead and unplug this and take this out. Put this aside for now. And we're going to tuck the wires away. We're going to grab the... Whoa! There's a screwdriver connected to that. Wow. Okay, we're going to go ahead and snap the battery cover on. Spin her around for you here. There we go. Look at that. And that is your build of the FreeWing ME-262. This airplane it's beautiful. It's really, really scale. Again, the airbrushing job they did on it, all the water decals are pre-applied, so it almost looks like it's a part of the paint. So it looks just really, really nice. This is just another classic. So again, thank you for joining me for this build of the FreeWing ME-262. Make sure you check out the flight review that's going to be coming up here soon, and you can see the performance for yourself. Actually flies really, really nice. My name is Pete. Thank you all always for your support and for watching these videos. I hope that you found this video informational for you. And if you have any questions in regards to this ME-262, or questions or comments, go ahead and post them in the comment box here just below, and I'll answer them for you. Again, thank you always. Like us on Facebook, please, and follow us on Twitter and subscribe here as well. We'll see you at the field.